Mm. Good morning and welcome to the podcast of Bob and Danielle here to fight CPS and, of course, get your children back or keep your children, wherever the case may be. This podcast is broadcast live on YouTube. You found us on Facebook. Excuse me. And we're here to help you fight CPS. CPS. That's seems to be a bad word today. It shouldn't be because they're supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse and do family reunification, which I think they forgot about that one.
Right? Keep families together.
Yeah, it's very important that we try to keep the family together or get them back together, wherever the case may be. Now, let me see here. I forgot to add some banners here. To interact with this podcast, one way is to text messages from wherever you're at. And all I ask is your name and the city and state you're texting from. So I get kind of a idea where CPS may be different or all the same or whatever. All you do is type in your CPS case, your question, anything to do with CPS we'll talk about. And both of us have been in CPS cases. Mine's a little different than hers. Both her children have been abused and taken from us. She's fighting to get her child who's grown up in the system, and now she's trying to get him as a adult guardian. My case was I had 3 kids taken needlessly. They weren't in any danger, but they were taken, and I went through a year and a half or without an attorney. I got an attorney, so it took me 3 years to get my kids back. I only got 2 of the 3 back. Anyway, it's affected us. We have things we can tell you that work for us. I know that Danielle has experience with ICPC, which is an interstate organization that helps with children moving from one state to the other state. So we have a wealth of information that we can share with you. We're not attorneys, and we don't profess we are, but maybe the things that we do mention can help your case. If you're from another country, it's fine to go ahead and text in. We've had people from other countries have texted in. We had from Australia and Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana in South America. A lot of people don't know where Ghana is, but it's a small little country near Venezuela, above Brazil. And we've also had Mexico and Mozambique, which is in Africa on the west coast or the east coast of Africa. That's where it is, near the Gulf of India or whatever. And lastly, we had someone from Denmark. And so it's nice that people around the world see this show because maybe they can learn something. It seems like the people. Oh, wow, we already have a call in. We got to that one there. Great. Good morning. Who am I talking to?
Yes, good morning. My name is Erica Thomas.
Great.
I'm from Texas.
What part of Texas, Erica?
I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio. What can we do for you?
Yes, so I had CPS back in my life back in 2015. They removed him because of domestic violence. I was the victim of the domestic violence. I wasn't the perpetrator giving the domestic violence. But they took my kid and they left me with one of my kids. So the separate dads.
So you have 2 kids and 2 different dads, and they took one child but not the other. Why was that?
Because of the domestic violence. They never they didn't want to give me my oldest son back, but they were like, "Here, we'll give you this kid, but you can't have the other one."
That doesn't make much sense. That
Is the
particular.
father in the life?
So like, I've been paying child support and visiting the kid ever since he's been out of my care, and he's still not back in my care, and he's 9.
Yeah, Danielle had a question. Are both fathers active with your 2 children?
No, one of the rights, one of them is, the other one's not.
Okay, the one
His
that
rights got terminated.
is not with you, is that father active with him?
No, his rights got terminated.
Oh, because of domestic violence?
Yes.
Or did okay.
Okay, but your rights were not terminated. And where is that child today?
That child is with a woman who is not related to me or the child.
Is foster care?
She was with. I think she'd be considered foster care because she's not related to me or the child. She
Okay.
was with my brother.
Now the child you're
As a
staying with,
girlfriend.
the child that you still have, is that father involved with him?
Yes, and I have custody of the child. So that's
Why
how
are you-
I've been able to.
Why are you paying child support and he not paying child support?
So
The one got his rights terminated.
I pay child support to my oldest, and then I also receive child support
For the youngest.
Okay,
for the
so
youngest.
so you are paying for your oldest child support. Why do you have to pay child support? Does he make less money than you?
The father of the oldest one rights got terminated. The 9-year-old.
So they're not.
The one
they're
that's
not making him pay.
Well, who
They're
you paying child
making-
support to? That lady who has your child?
Yes.
is it like a
Why
Why would you
standby
pay child
caregiver?
support to the lady? Because if she's foster care, they don't demand child support. Wow.
Is it like a standby guardian, maybe? Or no?
I don't know. I don't know her status.
Do you
That's
still
one thing they failed to tell me.
do you still have visitation rights to your oldest?
Yes, I have visitation rights.
And this
Supervised or
case was
unsupervised?
2015. It's 2024.
Supervised.
Supervised. Wow.
That's 9 years ago. How old is the child? The oldest.
9.
He's 9.
So he was taken at birth from you?
He was taken away from like 2 years old.
Wow.
Is the other person got because with it being 8 to 9 years, what with domestic violence, have you completed a case plan, any classes? What are they requiring you to do now?
I completed the domestic violence classes. I completed all the drug testing. I came back clean on all my drug testing. I did my parenting classes. I did everything that they asked me to do. That's why they left me with one of my kids. But then they didn't want to give me my oldest.
The oldest. What
is the reason why they don't want to give your oldest? What harm is that child in your home?
Let me turn mine up.
Never been in my home, and they've never given me a chance to be a parent to him.
Like
Yeah, but
they
they have to have a reason. They have to be a reason why he's deemed not safe in your presence.
I think it's a domestic. The woman that has my son now, she's using domestic violence.
Well,
So
are you still
she-
doing domestic violence with his dad?
His dad.
My youngest son's father, there is no domestic violence. We're not even
I see,
together.
Fred.
We have custody.
Okay.
So me and my youngest son's father, we live separated. But I have my own apartment. My youngest has his own house. It's just we share custody, basically.
Right.
And you're not involved with the first one's dad, are you? Anymore?
We're not even. No, we're not together.
Wonder, is that my
I've been just trying to take care of myself and my kids.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Is that mine echoing,
That's
Bob?
my main focus.
Yeah, I think you need to turn down me and Danielle because it's echoing in your background.
Let me see. I wonder if that's me.
Is that better?
Yes, much better.
Is that better?
Okay, I can still hear my voice, but
Yeah, my case is one of those weird, unique cases where they do end up splitting the siblings.
okay. Now, what is CPS asking of you now?
That's the thing. They are out of my life. If anything, they've harassed me.
CPS is out of your life?
Yes, CPS is still out of my life. But ever since they've left my youngest with me, I've been harassed with the department, and they haven't been able to find things to have my youngest removed.
Well, why?
So your oldest sounds like the caregiver has guardianship or custody of them.
Right.
Possibly.
That's what it's okay. But why are they still harassing you?
For the youngest.
They're not able to harass me now, but they were harassing me because where I used to live, they had more easy accessible. But now they don't have accessible because it's just me and my son that lives in the home, and nobody else lives in the home that can answer the door. So I'm pretty sure if they were to come knock on my door, I would call the cops and tell them to get them off my property.
Yeah, you know about the law that says no one can trespass on your home unless you or they have a warrant to trespass in your home.
Yep. I'm currently right now what I'm doing is I'm going to school to be a paralegal.
Oh, okay.
So I've learned a lot. And I think that's what's helping me, keeping me with the child that lives with me, because they know that I'm going to school to be a paralegal, but they also, keep in mind, I'm a former foster child. So
they have a record on you. They have a record. CPS will have a record of you being a foster child.
Yes.
And they'll use that against you, too.
How long were you in foster care?
I was there for 16
16
years.
years in your life?
Wow.
15. Now, were you there to turn 18?
Yes.
How was foster care with you? How was foster care growing up for those 15 years?
It was rough. Don't get me wrong. They gave me a room, a bed, food, clothes. They gave me what I wanted for Christmas. Like, I grew up like almost like a spoiled brat, but not a spoiled brat because I was in foster care. But I've had friends who had been abused and neglected while in foster care, and I'm like, that's a nightmare. Like, I don't recall being that way, but I do know that I had some type of mental health issue because of what happened.
Now, what about your biological mother and father? Where were they when you were in foster care?
So I heard that my mother signed her right to CPS. So that right there, and then they took my dad's right.
Did they try to keep you, or did they try to be with you at all?
My dad, he was fighting hard to get custody of me. He lost custody because my mother and my grandmother told the state that I was molested by my dad. But my dad recalled that my mother was hanging around with a whole lot of different men, and I was calling pretty much everyone dad.
Oh.
And so, like, when it comes to a harsh accusation of child molesting a kid, he was like, whoa, I got to back up. And that's when he was shoved into the corner.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Now that you're grown up, have you tried to go back with your mom or dad or talk to them?
So I have a relationship with my dad. I don't really have a relationship with my mom because she told me she gave up on me when I was 3. And I feel like now that I'm a parent, she wants the easy job. Oh, let me just be the grandparent. And she didn't want all that other type of responsibility when I was younger. So, and I was, keep in mind, I'm the baby of 3 other siblings.
Okay.
On my mom's side.
And you don't, totally understandable. If you don't want her around your kids, I mean, that's totally understandable.
When my dad is around my kids, I'm around. I'm not going to put my own children at risk.
Okay. That's
Okay.
every right that you have to do that as a parent.
Now, okay, so what was the reason that your oldest was taken from you? What is their reason?
The reason was domestic violence. They said that I chose to not leave when I needed to leave when he was abusing me.
And that guy that was abusing you was her father?
It was my oldest son's father, but keep in mind, the only way they had a case of domestic violence is I was the one that was speaking up. Not my kid, me. I was trying to get out. I knew as a former professional, I knew I needed to get out. Not just for the sake of my kids, but also for the sake of me.
So did you ask for help? Did you reach out to them for help or reach out to...
Danielle's asking.
They were trying to help me.
Okay, you reached out for help, right?
And that's...
Yes.
And it's like they use that. Like a mandated report. Oh, sorry, Mama. Is it like a mandated reporter report it, or like how did, like the domestic violence? How did it? When you asked for help, how did it come about that CPS got involved with the domestic violence? Did you call the cops?
I was calling the cops.
Okay.
I don't know if they got news reports of that. They probably did.
Yeah.
But also at the same time.
Well, how would you like us to help you? What question do you have that we can help you?
I was wondering through the whole charade with this woman having my son. They changed his name right in front of me. While I still have parental rights, why I'm still paying child support while visitation, I was wondering if I still have a chance of getting a home.
Well, you say you have parental rights. So your parental rights been terminated?
How were they able to change his name? And it's in the state of Texas.
Here in the state of Texas, the judge changed his name only because they don't like me speaking up or being a voice. So ever since the state has taken my child, I don't remain silent on what they do. I speak up. Because this is my kid we're talking about.
Right. I have my child's in foster care in Texas. He's in League City right now, and he's 18. And yes, that's...
But your child's special needs.
Yes.
Her child's special needs.
My child's autistic and ADHD, and he was sent from Georgia to Texas.
Well, my oldest has ADHD, and I'm over here taking care of a child that is special needs with autism and ADHD together.
Your youngest one is?
No, oldest, she said.
The youngest has autism and ADHD.
Oh, I'm sorry. The youngest does.
The oldest only has ADHD. So
right.
I'm dealing with more mental health issues over here than my oldest is.
And they sent with your oldest, it sounds like, I mean, they didn't get the female, she didn't get custody or temporary guardianship, any, because apparently
my brother gave her my brother gave up his guardianship because in their county I had to file a claim against CPS because I found out that my child was abused under my brother's ex-girlfriend. So his ex-girlfriend had a CPS case where they took her kids, and so that raised flags, I guess, for my brother. Even though he's not the one that abused him, but the girlfriend did, and so he had to literally give up his CM.
So did your brother have temporary custody or guardianship of the child after the domestic violence stuff and when he was removed from you?
So when CPS took my baby, I left the domestic violence automatically. I was like, I'm gone.
Right.
So my brother got custody after the fact that I left. He was fighting me.
Right. And that's what it sounds. Yeah. I gotta turn this down. Sorry. Yeah.
So he had to give up his guardianship, and instead of giving him back to me, he gave him to the woman that he used to be with.
And it's, yeah, sounds like a standby, but it sounds like it's more permanent, like a standby guardian, but it's more like she has permanent guardianship. And because you still have your parental rights, and you can't.
My rights still can't be taken. She can't adopt.
Your what?
My rights are still. My rights are still intact. She can't adopt him.
Right. So you can go at any moment. Why can't you go at any moment and go once you get your It's kind of like the situation, and when my son back in 2011, it sounds like she is guardianship and it's permanent until he's 18 or whatnot. But you can go file at any time a petition to terminate that guardianship. No, you can't do that.
That's a very good question. I'm hoping that I could terminate her guardianship.
Well, you can change the plan. You can change.
Right.
You can petition the court or modify the existing plan that's in place with new evidence and with attachments.
And if she's got everything in order, and she's also got her other kids, she can petition to get her child back, to gain custody of her child back. It sounds like, because you have your parental rights and you have visitation, and that's exactly what I was going through. And at any moment and any time, when she's got custody right now, and it's only guardianship, and it's permanent no matter what until he's 18, but you have not lost your rights during that process. So you can go petition the courts at any moment, as long as you got all your stuff in order, and present it to the courts and petition to regain custody of your child at any time until he's 18. But I would look into that and make sure that
I could file a petition to terminate my son's placement, basically.
Well, it would be whoever. See, because your brother is the one that placed the child with this lady, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would look into who has the say over, because it sounds like you do have your rights, but who has the right to go petition the courts between you and your brother? You need to find out what your status is there.
See, with my brother, when he had permanent management conservatorship, he had the right to choose where he wants his child to live. So he chose, since he couldn't do it anymore, he chose this woman to take over.
It's like a standby guardian is what they what they call it.
So should I be when I go? Should I file petition to terminate guardianship altogether with both of them included?
You should be able to. I mean, because
you're the biological mother.
Yes.
You certainly could.
And with your brother, I mean, he was just really like this lady is a standby guardian. But where the permanent guardianship comes in at is it's just for them to be able to enroll them in school and make medical decisions, because if it was temporary, it'd have to be done ever so often, but permanent is to where it sets it in where they can enroll them in school, and that's the way it is here in Georgia. But you did not lose your rights.
I think you're correct on that, because with my brother, when he had custody, he had the right to enroll him. So
it was.
And she needed that permission. She needed that same form that he had, so she can enroll him with him living with her.
Yep. And it's under kinship. Like your brother's falls under kinship since he's related to the child, and like an uncle, aunt, not immediate family member, but you have every opportunity if you feel as though it's pretty much like say if you had this situation and the guardianship, which is it's actually a good thing, that CPS, I mean, you have a really good opportunity of getting your child if you feel 100% that you have everything together and you go petition the courts for your child. I would.
And my brother are making me pay child support for them. So
do what now? Say that again.
She says they're making her pay child support.
She wanted child support.
So your brother filed child support on you while he had the child.
Yes.
Does your child get Social Security?
I don't know.
If your child gets Social Security and it's more than the payment that's court ordered, that the Social Security while the child's in foster care or in guardianship with anybody, that child support is considered child support, your child support payment, and that's you're not supposed to have to pay. I did find that out here not too long ago.
I don't know if he's getting Social Security.
I would. That's nothing I'd find out.
Well, you're his mother, and you could call the Social Security by giving his Social Security number.
You have your parental rights. You did not lose your rights when the child got placed with the brother and then with this lady. You never had no termination. So
if he gets Social Security, I shouldn't have to be paying child support.
No, not while he's in. No, because that's it's I'd have to look it up, but it's under like the Title 4D funding, up under the you have to have it on my computer. But yeah, because I just found this out about 2 months ago, and they ended up terminating my child support on my son. But they said that if he was like with the child support was paying, that I didn't have to pay all that time because he was receiving Social Security.
I'd like to stop for a moment here. I'd like to welcome Frederick Connie, who has been on our show and did a phone call in. You're welcome back again. Is there any comment you want to make, Frederick Connie?
Is that the gentleman about the guardianship?
Yeah, he's down
the
at
one
the
in
bottom.
Massachusetts. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts.
The one that was trying to get his kid from Michigan to go to Michigan. The ICPC.
Yeah, trying to get his kids from
Okay.
Michigan, yes.
Mm.
Anyway, I wanted to let a warm welcome to Frederick there. If you have a question for us, we'll try to answer best we can. Also, at this time, I like to talk about my rule number 1, which is You need an attorney if you're going to fight CPS. CPS is like doing open heart surgery. You need to have a professional to fight your case, because CPS is not your friend. They're not honest. They're deception. They lie. They're not transparent. And you need someone to navigate. And I know that you're out there looking for attorneys. We have an attorney here who produces the show. Vincent W. Davis Associates has produced the show. The attorney, Vincent W. Davis, is a family law attorney. He is also a trial attorney, and he has fought CPS civil-wise in civil lawsuits and won. So he's really excellent. You can call him at 888-888-6582 and ask for a consultation. It's 30 minutes for $60. And at the bottom of my screen is a way to go to this calendar and book them. It's a way to go to the calendar and book them.
That's awesome.
Also, that besides texting, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can write Grace, my producer, at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and tell her you want to be on the 14 podcasts that I have. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week.
Did you see what Mr. Connie wrote in the chat, Bob?
Oh,
It's good news. That's awesome.
oh, I'm sorry. He's in Tennessee.
No. He got his family that was going to fight him for his daughter, and that ones in Tennessee that were not related. They're dropping their
good.
claim.
They did drop the Tennessee then, because they were trying
emails.
to take it. He has all right for what he was trying to do. Good
And
to
he
hear
said-
that, Frederick Connick.
They sent out emails this morning to the caseworker and the supervisor caseworker, he said, and he filed a complaint to Health and Human Services for not having a fair trial.
Good.
Awesome. Good job, man.
Good,
job.
Frederick.
Keep it up. That's awesome.
Okay, go back to
Baby
our
be home
caller.
soon.
What other questions do you have?
Awesome.
That is pretty much it. I was just trying to figure, because that's where I'm at. That's where I'm stuck at. Like, what do I go doing next with? And y'all think I should do is file a petition to terminate?
Right, you should do a modification. It's called a petition for modification of current court orders. What that does is the judge has to, within 30 days, hold a hearing. But you got to prove your case. You got to make sure that the attorneys for the children, the attorneys for the social workers are notified. And then you have to go before the judge and prove your case.
With her, do you have does yours? Go ahead.
I have a stronger case, I believe now. I work. I have custody of one of my kids. I have a house. I have food. I have clothing. I have it all.
You need to bring that before the court. Those are your arguments in court.
Yes, it is, Frederick.
That's new evidence.
Does she have a court case right now with the oldest? Like, is there still an open case?
Is it still an open court case right now?
With the oldest?
With the oldest?
This is where we're at. They're claiming that I agreed to the current placement, but I didn't sign those orders at all. Like, you know how when they tell you do not sign?
Right.
And you do not sign?
Right.
In my CPS case, I did not sign. When the woman sued me for my son, I did not sign. So I've never signed for her to have neither party. They have not had my signature.
Okay.
Are they trying to? Do they say in the court papers that you consented without? I mean, like verbally or anything at all?
It doesn't say it.
Okay. Because that's something that I would.
They were trying to force me. If anything, if they were trying to do that, I'd go back and tell the judge they were trying to force me to as my legal rights. I don't have to sign anything.
Right. And the reason why he's with the lady is because your brother, you said your brother placed him there, and that's who he chose. But
neither of them have my consent. Like, she doesn't have my consent at all. What woman would sign a document saying this woman can have full custody?
right. Well, you still have your rights, so she don't have full. It's guardianship. It's totally different. There's you still have your rights. If they had custody, you would not have no visitation, nothing to the child. Because
Well, I know why the woman that has my son, she tried to get the visitation, and she tried to get the visitation taken away. But when I went to court, when she sued me to court, I told the judge, hey, I have the sibling in my care, and he's been in my care since y'all took the oldest one away. So the judge knows, and that's enough evidence to not remove my visitation.
and siblings are supposed to be seeing one another. That's very because yes.
They are.
But I would definitely look into seeing what the status is of who has custody, who has what, and see what's going on, and see if and then petition the courts. Because if you don't have an open case right now with that oldest one, you would have to petition for you to gain custody back of your child. But you have every right to. You did not ever lose your rights.
Yeah, I know, and then that's what I told this woman, that I still have rights to fight her and fight for my kids.
Because she's gonna fight.
She's not gonna trust me. She has no other children at home. What's she gonna fight for?
Right.
But she could put up a fight. That's what sucks.
And I can say, Your Honor, I believe I deserve to have a second chance with my kids whenever.
Right.
That has never been granted to me. All I'm asking for is a second chance.
But you got to get that into the courts. You got to get this going to get custody of your child. But she may she can put her 2 cents in, but it's all up to you and then the courts of how it's what you show the courts, how much you've changed, and what.
With my oldest, and told the judge that I abused my oldest, and I'm like thinking to myself, I've never raised my oldest, so how can in my CPS case they could have proved physical abuse.
Have you ever had a bonding study done? Or have you ever had a bonding study done between you and your oldest?
No.
I would look into that. That would be something that would be really good. I would look. You'd have to look it up. Bob, how would we go about? You can Google it or ask your attorney about a bonding study. If you want to get a bonding study with your child, your oldest, and you could even include the youngest. But that will show the courts right there the bond you have between mother and son, and if y'all are, it'll show if y'all are getting along. It's just kind of like the bond y'all have. If y'all are close, and what it is they evaluate that.
They broke my bond with my oldest.
They what?
They broke my bond with my oldest.
How is it like when you visit him?
So when I was visiting him, this is the thing. Since my son was been away from me, I visited him every chance that I could get. But they would cancel on me. And they've been not following their own orders from the very beginning of this whole entire thing. And they want to keep it up. That's why they're trying to fight for my own kids, so they can continue to do what they're doing. So they can try to destroy that bond.
Is your case open right now as we speak? Like in this day and time, is it open? Is there?
Okay, well, there's no. Currently, there's no attorneys. There's no CPS workers, no nothing like that.
Well, before you have your parental rights terminated, you can request a bonding assessment to be done.
She needs to find out the final order of that court case with her oldest. Like what happened?
What I do know, and somebody has told you this, but like I don't think this woman is gonna want to go and try to terminate my rights when I have one of my kids in my care. I do know if she goes for termination of my parental rights, and I'm the mother of these two kids, it's gonna make her look. Her case is gonna go the other way. It will get reversed, not help her. So I don't.
They have to prove a lot to terminate your parental rights, unless they have like a substantial amount of evidence for them to go push for termination, especially if a third party has your child. They have to prove a lot.
I don't think they have a lot to go. I don't think can terminate because they don't. I have to keep in mind. I have one of my kids in my care. If they were to try to go and terminate, the judge could tell them no, it ain't happening.
Right. And I mean, but really, she could say it like if she's telling you that just to scare you. Put it up in the document everything. Keep a paper trail. Document visits, document any communication, anything, and I would get it back in front of the judge and say you're ready to regain custody of your child.
I want to interrupt you guys because Frederick has been wondering about how to get rid of his court-appointed attorney. Now, Frederick, let me get to
is
that.
Is it his court-appointed, or is it the one for the child?
You need to contact the court to get rid of your court-appointed attorney.
Mm-hmm.
You need to contact the court to get rid of your court-appointed attorney. It should not take more than that one time you talk to him.
Right.
You contact the court and say you do not want your court-appointed attorney. It should not be months to get rid of your court-appointed attorney.
Is that mine echoing, Bob?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that mine echoing, causing the echoing?
No, it's the person we're talking to. She has it still with our voices on in the background.
Oh. Okay.
Did you understand that, Frederick Connie? It won't be months. You contact the court, you ask the judge to remove my court-appointed attorney.
In the
Hopefully Frederick got that information.
And I'm glad to hear that about the updates he's had since the last live that we were in talking to him. That's awesome. Oh. Probate. For Miss, the one on the phone, Miss, how long does it take to have him removed? For guardianship or anything to look into that, call your probate court for your wherever it was. The probate court will handle that. I just made sure to look that up for Texas, and they handle the guardianship, and if it's a, and that's and standby guardianships and anything that has to do with. So contact them and tell them they'll be able to tell you what.
Would they be able to tell me if she's like guardianship? What is she to the child?
They'll be able to. Well, actually, you can even go to the courthouse and give them your name and your ID, and you can get everything about the case and what has filed with the courts. Do what?
I think what it is, it's just continued. So all she did is when she sued me, she continued. She basically wanted to continue PMC. So I think so. All they did was change the PMC status because my brother had it.
They just get it's yeah. It's kind of like it's pretty much a standby for you to get your stuff in order, and then you can go back, but you have to take it through the courts to get your child custody back or to get him back in your care.
Okay.
It's pretty much it's like, say, if it's kind of like taking a child to daycare, and say if you had struggles and had to go away for a minute, it's a standby, like I'm not going to say a babysitter. How can I describe this, Bob? Like
a caregiver?
It's kind of
Caregiver
for a certain period of time. But in your case, it could be until he's 18, because you don't know a time period. You know what I'm saying? But at any moment in time, you can go petition the courts for your child and get him back at any moment, as long as you've gotten everything right that you had struggled with for this to happen. You get what I'm saying? It's just it's like it may say permanent, but it's just a temporary thing until you get your life in order, pretty much, until your life becomes manageable again to where you can take care of your child. And then you also have, in your youngest one will definitely be a good outcome for the case as well, like a good look on, hey, well, she's caring for her youngest. And that's where also a bonding study, and because they're going to be looking out for the best interest of the child. Where is he okay at? Where is but
okay.
But you're on the right track. You just it's all a thing of paperwork and the courts. That's changing name, changing stuff through the courts.
I think that's about it on my question.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking the time.
And good luck.
You can go ahead and sign off. And Frederick, if you want to talk more, you can call in too. So, Frederick or anybody else that wants to call in, it's 626-698-0990. You can call in and ask your question in there. Now, I have two of the rules I can talk about. Rule number 2 is to take good notes. And the way to do that is get yourself a blank notebook, and you want to first have a section on things that happen. Every time that you're involved with CPS, there is a thing that happens there, and you want to record that incident. They're called incidents. And so you want to start off with the date and time of the incident and the people involved in the first line. On the next lines or next couple lines, you want to describe what the incident was. They took your child or whatever it was. They came to your house. You came to their office, whatever. So you describe it. Then the third part is you want to do the conclusion. How did it end? You may not know the answer right away. It may take 6 months, a year, a couple years, but you want to have a conclusion. Then you skip a couple lines, then put the next in the next instant. So suddenly now you'll fill your notebook with all these instants, but it'll help you later on when you do your case, especially if you have an attorney that can understand where you're coming from. So that's important. Also, you can highlight it with maybe yellow and pink, and the two colors representing different things, and you can highlight. You also, with the spaces listed between instances, can write your notes. Also, you can divide your notebook into different chapters. You have one with the instance, then you can have one with maybe the treatments that you're taking, the programs, the parenting programs, that thing there. A third part might be is web pages you have the contact or people that give you help or attorneys. Anyway, you need some organization. Try to keep it all in one notebook, and that really will. I did not do that, and I wish I had. I wish I had. And the third thing is, my third rule is that you do not talk to social workers or police. It's usually a yes/no answer. The less you talk, they won't use it against you. So if you just say yes/no answers, you're fine. You don't allow them in your home. You have to give them permission for them to come in your home. And the reason why you don't allow them in your home, they'll use what they see in your home against you.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to, allow them in your home. And you certainly don't want to give up your child. You need a court order before you give up your child. Too many parents give up their children or come down to the social worker's office and surrender the children. What you want to do is you want to keep your children because they will take it, but they need a court order to do so. And so my best thing is if they have questions about you, meet with them at their office, not at your home. Because they're going to inspect your home. They're going to see your kids and everything. And when you come down to the office, don't take your kids. Put your kids with your one of your relatives that's for safekeeping. And do it that way there because they have to issue a warrant, which is a legal documentation. It has to be signed by a judge, a wet signature. And the warrant has to say specific things, who they're accusing the person of, what are they accusing you of, who they want to take possession of, and where they want to take possession of, and when. So it's a real complex document. Too many CPS workers, social workers, will end up just flashing a piece of paper that is not legit. That also goes for the police. The only time a police can enter a home is if there's a crime in progress and there's a life-threatening emergency, like someone being shot, knifed, or a child being slammed against the wall or something like that. They can't enter your home. But you have to give permission. So rule number 3 is you do not talk to them. Also be careful with medical. There's medical trafficking. What that means is if your child is sick in the middle of the night, heaven forbid, and you need to take them for emergency, you listen to what the doctor has to say. But if you don't like what the doctor is saying, you don't have to follow suit. And lately, these CPS workers are hanging at the hospital, and they'll take your child. Also, if you just had a childbirth, and you test positive, they want to come in the room and take your child. It's really bad because they'll list the policeman and they, will be very intimidating. They use Gestapo techniques, but there's not, you have your constitutional rights. You should know them. You have your civil rights. You should know them. You should know the 14th Amendment, the Second Amendment. There's amendments that will help you with your case. So whatever you can do, the less you say to them, the better off you are. So those are my 3 rules. Hire an attorney, get a notebook, and say no to social workers and the police.
Talk less without Frederick.
Right. Danielle says talk less. I'm a talker. So
no, I'm talking about
No, I know that. I'm just saying when you talk to social workers, I end up talking too much. So
no, you're fine. Look, I have to tell myself that, like, when they showed up at my house, I was like, because I get because they come across as people that you would think that, but there's that psychology in there. They play those mind games with you. Oh, well, we're your friend. We're gonna help you. Frederick said,
for instance, if they want to come to your school to interview your children,
Oh,
The
yeah.
school must call you as a parent to be present, not in
But they
necessarily
don't.
the room where they're interviewing, but you got to be on the campus. And if they
Mhm.
don't do that, then your rights are violated because you're supposed
Right.
to be there.
Right. And Frederick asked, "Do you have to pay child support to a standby guardian?" No.
I don't know where this child
Unless they
support you have
file.
to
No.
pay, especially if you're low income. I don't know how
I've
you could pay child
You
support.
don't have to unless they file. The guardian they have to file, open up a child support case on you.
Okay.
That's because I opened up one on myself. So
Oh,
I was, yeah, but I did that. But I did it because I was in a program and I had to do that in order for me to graduate this program. So, but I did it myself. So, but no,
okay.
they have to open that themselves, because once they sign as the guardian, they are responsible for the monies, funding, everything for that child. It's like them being a parent pretty much.
Yep.
But
Yep.
no, you do not have to pay unless they open up a case on you. Like if they go to the child support office and open up a case on you.
I agree.
So yeah, so Frederick, no, you don't have to pay unless the guardian or whomever has the child opens up the case on you. Yes. But I'm glad to hear that Tennessee is backing out and you will be
Yeah.
getting the kid.
Yeah.
The kid will be
Well,
moving to
I
Michigan.
think that when people do call us back that things we suggest are working, it's nice to know that they can call in and get help here. We're not, to say, attorneys here, but we certainly have valuable information we can share with them, and also
And-
alert CPS is meant to be.
And
I
it's
mean,
a lot of people.
I was always described CPS as, like Alice in Wonderland. You fell in the rabbit hole, and then you got all these doors you got to answer, and no one answers them right, and you're bouncing.
And you don't answer. Right.
Yeah, you bounce from one thing to another thing. So,
and they try to keep you like discombobulated and confused and
that's
try to
what
keep you
Alice
stressed
in
out.
Wonderland was. I think when Alice fell in that hole, she was always confused, and that's what CPS is.
Oh yeah,
It's an Alice in Wonderland place. So
they
and then things like when you see social workers and CPS wear pink shirts that say on the front we're professional kidnappers, and on the back we're your children. 8 social workers did that and they were fired. But that, to me, shows the mentality of what social workers are.
That's like
I don't,
something.
and it's the bonuses. They get bonuses, and I think they need to stop the bonus.
Yes.
You don't do bonuses with children.
No, it's
That's
like
wrong.
it's like
that's wrong.
having a quota to meet every month or something. And let me see how many kids.
Wrong. That's wrong.
Oh yeah,
and then they
our
take
kids
it
aren't
personal.
pawns.
They'll take it personal, use that against you. They'll do things they're not supposed to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the biggest thing is the false information.
Allegations.
And the false things they put in these court orders.
Right.
This paperwork that's filed into the courts. I mean,
I wish all allegations, whether done by professional people or laymen, are in writing and have their name signed to it. So in case they do lie, they can be prosecuted, because that's wrong for them to use CPS for their own game. I mean, too many relatives and friends are using it for retaliation.
Out of spite,
yeah. Or they want to gain access to your children. It's sad. It really is.
Like my aunt, she did this. She has my daughter. She guardianship of my daughter, but my son, she didn't want me to have when my mom died. My mom passed, and then she didn't want to take care of him. So that's why she said, I mean, it's greed. It's selfish. It's wrong. That boy didn't do nothing wrong to nobody, and he didn't deserve that. But it was her to try to get access to my daughter, and no. I mean, there's still legalities to everything, and there's still a way you got to go about things. And
Frederick has a couple more questions. It says, would I have to pay child support?
If you did a standby guardianship, we
standby guardianship.
It was no.
And the answer is no.
Unless they filed. Unless the guardian opens up a case, because it's totally different.
And as far as your public defender being removed, it can happen the same day. He can be removed in one day. It's not a long process. It's your constitutional right to whether you want to accept a public defender or not accept a public defender. Well, my time is up, Danielle, and I got to end it. I know we don't want to, but we should end it.
It's been going good the last few podcasts.
Yeah. Someone wrote in a question. What is the link to this video? All you have to do is just type in Bob Pace Fight CPS. You'll find the video, find the date, and you can watch it. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Danielle, for giving me your valuable time this morning. Look forward to seeing you this evening. And to all of you out there, I want to thank the Frederick Connie for calling in, our caller who called in. That was nice to have. And again, everybody, do not give up. Keep fighting for your kids. Follow my 3 rules. And God bless you. And I'll see you this evening.